Here we go. Hey, Maureen, how are you?
I am living the dream, darling. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming on. And I wanted to introduce you because you have a very great way of speaking about what you do. And when I first met you, I didn't quite understand what it was that meant human design. So as somebody had said and described this was astrology on crack. So it could be the new step up to astrology, which is cool. But let's go in because you're a human design practitioner or a mentor. And tell me a little bit about your background, how you got into this, your journey, because everybody's got this journey going on of how they're getting there.
Yeah. So first of all, it is an absolute honor to be here with you, shooting the shit and getting to talk about human design. It's literally my favorite thing to talk about. So yeah. Hi, I'm Maureen Webb. I am a human design and gene keys guide. I also read tarot and oracle cards. It's all kind of meshed together. How I got into human design. Well,
Yes.
way back in 2018, I was introduced to human design. Now, I have been a student of astrology for over 30 years. I don't think I have a memory that doesn't include me being super nerdy with astrology and tarot. It's just, it is, I was born woo. That's what I tell people. Like, I popped out of the womb, like, give me your birthday. I need to run your chart. Like, that's who I am as a person. It's just who I am. And I have learned to love and accept that. So in 2018, I had a couple people mention human design because they knew how much I loved astrology. And I was like, okay, well, there's people mentioning this, so this is something that I need to look into. So I went online and I ran my chart and I was like, I don't know what any of this means because it's incredibly confusing if you don't know anything about it. So I bought the book and I was running through it, and part of human design gives you your strategy for life. I was like, oh, I want to know. And I looked and it said, wait to respond. And I said, hell no. I am cardinal fire through and through. I am an Aries sun, Capricorn moon, Leo rising. My Mars and my Mercury are in Aries. I don't wait. I'm like, who do you think you are telling me to wait for anything? Don't you know who I am? So I shut the book for 2 years. I was so mad that somebody told me that I had to wait that I shut the book for 2 years. And in 2020, I don't know if you're familiar with that year. I don't know if you can remember anything about 2020.
Oh, 2020. I don't know anything special.
Right? Just our world completely imploding. And for me, that was actually an incredibly pivotal year in my life. Yes. My mother had been in remission for cancer. She had been battling lung cancer for 6 years. That was the year that it unexpectedly came back. We didn't know until she had to go to the hospital, and then 10 days later, she passed away. We had no idea that the cancer had come back and spread through her entire body. And then 5 months later, my dog died. It was an incredibly traumatic year for me. And it was the beginning of, I feel like, my newest dark night of the soul. I didn't know I could hurt so bad, and I was looking for answers. And for some reason, I had still had this stupid human design book, didn't throw it away. And it was on my bookshelf, and I looked at it again, and all of a sudden, like, shit made sense. The waiting didn't bother me. I was just so hungry to understand myself and my grief, and why did all of these things happen? How can I help myself get through this process and through this really shitty part of my life? And that was it. the rest is history. I fell in love with it, and there is not a day that has gone by that I have not talked about human design with somebody, or actually looked at my own human design and trying to learn as much as I can about this modality. And the more that I learned, the more it just blew my mind at how accurate it was and how much there was in my chart that could help me not only get through my experience and my pain, but it literally helped me in every facet of my life. And that is that's the big thing. And then if you'd like, I can kind of go into 2020 to 2023 if you'd like.
I would like to ask you, because you definitely have it, and you know, you find that everybody that gets into the metaphysical, even though it's been maybe been in the background, they still decided to do the 9 to 5. And so I want to talk about your 9 to 5 because it's very interesting, because I've never met someone who is a cop and a female who said, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. Was that part of the pivotal point with 2020 and you going, yeah, this is not?
100%. So as you alluded to, before coming here to Sedona, I was a Chicago police officer, and I actually retired last year on August 15th with 16 years on the job.
Wow.
A lot of people in my life did not like that decision. However, having been in law enforcement for that long and seeing how COVID had really taken a hold of the administration and what they were doing to officers, I had gotten into it, and it's so weird how beautiful all of these situations and experiences have happened. In 2020, I had seriously considered, like, oh shit, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I just have to hold out for 4 more years so I can get a pension, right? 4 more years, I'll get a pension, it'll be fine. And then, and then COVID happened, and I had refused to get vaccinated, and
Yes.
I had gone through the proper channels. I had asked for a medical exemption, and they denied it. I had asked for a religious exemption. Yeah, it wasn't medical, it was religious. I asked for a religious exemption, and they denied it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh. And then in the email where they denied it, they asked me to sign some papers that said the city of Chicago had a right to go into my medical records and look at any of the surgeries that I had had, any medical conditions I'd had, and any drugs that I had been prescribed. And if any of the drugs that I had been prescribed had been tested on human fetuses, that would be grounds to fire me.
Human fetuses?
Yes, because it was so messed up. And I looked at that and I was like, you're out of your fucking mind if you think I am, first of all, going to let you tell me what to do with my body, and then let the city of Chicago go through my medical records. Yeah. I was like, yeah, no, and this is when I realized, as hard as it was to realize, that my mother's death was a blessing. Mm-hmm. And sorry, I'm going to cry. Mm-hmm. Okay. Without my mother passing away, I wouldn't have had the money to actually quit and to move across the country to Sedona. My brother and I were able to sell her house. My mother had retirement money that she left, we were the beneficiaries. So when the city was like, oh, you're going to sign this piece of paper, we're going to fire you, I was like, no, I quit. Bye. Like, you can't, they could not scare me with telling me that they weren't going to pay me, because I had the money. And that's such a bullying tactic. I can't stand it. It just aggravates me to no end. So I said, yeah, I'm out this motherfucker. Essentially. I'm out. And I gave up my pension and I sold my house and moved across the country with my two ridiculously good looking pit bulls. And now I get to live what is my true calling, and that is being able to help people see the power that is innately inside of them and help them move forward on their journey the way they are meant to, not to be stifled by the man or what society says is good for you or it is acceptable. I don't do that anymore. I no longer prescribe to that. And it is the most invigorating, delightful thing that I have ever experienced in my entire life. And here we are, my dear.
And it's interesting when you decide, and you know, as teaching people to move forward in their power, we know we had to step into ours first.
Yes.
You know, 100%. You know, we both have those backgrounds where they were like, oh, you have to. And I was like, no, 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 no. And when you decide to make that step, I tell everybody all the time, something will drop in that says, okay, we're going to help you make this move, whatever it is.
Yep.
So Spirit has a plan, God, whoever has a plan for you when you say, all right, I want to walk in the right situation for myself. And then in that part, I'm going to help others. This is awesome. So I love this story. Okay. So now that you are here, you're being the mentor that you are and help others. How would you describe human design? Because I looked it up, and I know you talked about gene keys and generators, but basically they're saying it's actually really tells you who you are, like to a point. So I'm just wondering if this is like the step up to old school astrology, and it's going, we're going to do it this way.
Yeah, that's a beautiful question. Thank you for asking me. And it's one of my favorite to answer. Because I like to have fun with it. I really do. I don't think that life should be so serious, although it can have serious, obviously there are serious experiences we have. If I had to describe human design in literally one sentence, I would tell you that it's astrology on crack. But really what it is a combination of astrology, the I Ching, the Kabbalah tree of life, and the chakra system. And we mix those modalities along with quantum physics into it. And this is what it is. It is called the science of differentiation. It's all about learning what makes you uniquely and authentically who you were meant to be in this lifetime.
Yes. Quantum physics is becoming a big thing in so many different avenues. That is very cool. What can I explain this? When did the epiphany happen with you? Aside from, you talked about when you left, but that epiphany where it just was like, it gave you chills. We all had that thing.
So there have been many like aha and epiphany moments in my journey with human design. One of the first epiphanies I had was what it means as a generator to wait to respond. The thing that made me shut the book for 2 years was literally the thing that made me fall in love with human design. And that was the strategy of waiting to respond. My entire life up until that point, I had been taught that as an Aries, as a cardinal sign, I am all about initiating. Initiate this, go, 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 go. When in actuality, it is my design to wait to respond to external circumstances. When I realized that the reason I was moving and the reason this hit me so hard was because I was responding to what the city of Chicago was doing to me. And not only me, there were other officers as well. When I realized that response was so strong, it was like, oh my God, maybe waiting isn't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
when I let myself wait instead of initiate,
Yeah.
the world comes to me. And
Yes.
that's how I am supposed to do things. And when I realized that, it was like, holy shit. And I have been doing that in my life ever since. And the turnaround is, it's 180 degrees. It is completely different when you follow your design and experiment, because that's all this is an experiment. The things that will come to you will blow your fucking mind, and you will truly know what happiness is.
Yeah. Oh my God. So do you feel like you are actually following your chart? Because we're still having a human existence here. So do you
Oh,
feel like you're following your chart and really being comfortable with following that chart?
I am working towards following it more. So in human design, it is believed that it takes 7 years to decondition from our societal persona into who we are meant to be. I am in years like 3 or 4, and every year it changes. I learn more about myself. I every single day I get to learn not only about myself, but about other people. And it helps me see things in my chart that I had never seen before, or I see a different perspective. I'm taught something new and a new way to look at things. And it's just mind blowing, right? It just, every day I get to learn something new about myself. And that's like, to me, if you're not learning something new and you're not laughing every day, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of it can end up just being fear-based. What I wanted to ask you, if you were, even though we've touched on things and generators things, if somebody would say, well, I don't know what human design is, how do you explain it in kind of layman terms where people get it? Because you got to do that almost every day.
Oh, 100%. So I usually gauge people's humor when I tell them that it's astrology on crack, because if they listen to me and they laugh, then I can be a little bit more fun with it.
Right.
But if I were to break it down, it is really your unique blueprint and the energy that you have inside of you that is just waiting for you to acknowledge it and work with it. We all have gifts, we all have energy, we all have conditioning that we are born with. When we can work through that, the good and the bad, the this or the that is what human design asks you to do. It is experiment. Life is not supposed to be boring. Life is a journey. Life is an adventure. And
Yes.
that's what human design says. It's like, hey, come on, it's going to be fun. Trust us. Don't listen so much to your brain, because your brain is here to keep you safe. Listen
Yeah.
to your body and watch where it takes you. It's going to take you someplace unbelievable and someplace you never even dreamed existed. And that's what I get to do for people. It's a roadmap to where you are aligned and meant to be in this lifetime.
Yeah. Do you ever find, because as we're both readers and psychic clairvoyant, things like that, do you ever feel like sometimes, and I do, the younger people are really getting on top. Like they are so fucking bright, and they pick up on things because their parents have said, hey, this is another kind of life that's different from mine, because I want to change what happened in my life. So we have definitely where parents are letting them be who they are, which is really cool. Do you find there's a difficult time in the older generation, let's say 60, 70, to where they're like, yeah, no, it's too late for me? Do you find that they're on that path too? Doesn't matter what age.
So I've been really, really lucky in that aspect, where when I get to read for somebody that is in their 60s or in their 70s and even their late 50s, that they're incredibly open to a new way of thinking and a new perspective. Now, there will be, and I tell this to everybody, there will be things that I tell you about your chart that you may not agree with or may not resonate. And that's okay. Nobody's 100% like on, everybody has conditioning. Everybody has a different view and a different way that they move through this world. I am just lucky enough to be able to read for people who are open and willing, no matter what their age.
That's really good. Okay. So how could you, let's talk about gene keys.
Ooh, let's do it.
What are gene keys? We're talking about, we have a gene in our bodies, our genes and who we are. What is a gene key?
So for me, I don't like to explain gene keys without explaining a little bit of human design because they're connected.
Okay.
So the way that I view human design and gene keys is two parts of a whole. When we look at human design, it is a very masculine modality. It is very matter of fact. Read the words, this is how it goes. This is what you are designed to do. When we look at gene keys, it is the more feminine, receptive, and contemplated version of human design. Gene keys were channeled by Richard Rudd, who was a student of Ra Uru, who is the channel for human design. So our gene keys are very feminine and receptive. Instead of in human design where it's this is this, in the gene keys, it's like, hey, these are the gifts that you have. It is completely up to you whether or not you want to use them or how you use them. This is what can be if you choose to, but it's really up to you. And with gene keys, we have 3 levels. We have a shadow, a gift, and a city. So the shadow is the victimization. It's the lower level of the gene key. Then we have the gift, and then, which is obviously, a gift. We all know what a gift is. And then we have the city, which is the divine essence of that gene key. And depending on where it is in your hologenetic profile, which you can get for free at genekeys.com, it blends the meaning of the gene key with where it is in your profile. And again, it's just very receptive and soft. It can be a little bit harsh, especially in the shadow, because nobody wants to hear about the shadow of any of their placements because we're all perfect. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no problems. But it's such a beautiful, when you blend these two together, it is, to me, it is divine masculine and divine feminine coming together to help you along your path.
Do you find that sometimes, do you ever get like pop-up things when does your psychic come through as you're doing these things? Sometimes we do, when we do cards and things. Do you get like a psychic pop-up that helps you as well?
Oh, 100%. That's why I tell people that I read for to record, because I just go. It's like, Abraham Hicks, tune in, tap in, turned on. That's what it is for me. When I see your human design or when I see your gene keys, things just flow through, and don't ask me what I said because I don't remember.
Yeah, I know. You're like, okay, yeah, what? I get it. So now we have gene keys. Yes. So what is next? Is it the generator? Is it the projector? How does it go down from there or go up or whatever? So
in the gene keys, we actually don't use the types like we do in human design. We do take human design placements, and they basically convert into the gene keys. So for example, if you had in human design, if your sun was in gate 3.2, your gene key for your life's work would be 3.2 as well. So they mirror each other. There are 64 gates in human design. There are 64 gene keys in gene keys. So they mirror each other, and we don't necessarily need your type, But what I like to do is incorporate it because every type has a different strategy for life and different themes. So when you can blend the two, you can help somebody else. You can help people more if you know their type and their gene keys.
Because I forgot to say did I not talk about the gates? Because that was one of the ones that see, this is what I'm saying in my notes.
That's okay.
That was the gates. That's what I did want to tap on too. So gates, gene keys. So, okay. So you said it's a 64, and what are these numbers?
So the numbers are derived from the I Ching. So the I Ching, there are 64 different types in the I Ching. There are 64 different symbols. So there are 64 different gates in human design based on the I Ching.
The 64 and 64. So that's what's okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, I don't know what to ask in that sense because I'm like, okay, so we're talking about this. How do the chakras fall into place?
So
and it might be all over the place. So if you want to bring it down,
that's okay.
Yeah, let me know.
Ask away. I don't care. So in the beginning, when we look at human design, when we're looking at human design from the perspective of the chakra system, it is believed that, like, I think it starts out in the 1700s, don't quote me, we were what were known as seven-centered beings. So we only had 7 centers, just like the chakra system, right? As we have evolved as humans, we have expanded our centers in human design. So we have a root center, a sacral center, a spleen, an emotional solar plexus, a G center, a heart center, the throat center, the head, and the ajna. So those are 9 centers that we now have evolved to in human design. So we still take the foundation of these 7 centers and the 7 chakras. We have just expanded as humans through our evolution, and that is reflected in the human design body graph.
And so you'll get to see those. So is it like when you're doing, what do they call those things that we have? The aura things?
The aura photos? Yeah.
Right. So when you're looking at your chakra on a chart, is it showing more of, less of, something that needs to be worked on, if it's balanced or not? Does it work in that way, kind of?
So that's an interesting question. And to me, the way that I understand and I experience is when we're taking aura photos for people, it's the energy in the now. Whereas when I am reading for somebody and I'm reading their human design, it's the time, location, the date, time, and location of their birth. So I'm working with the energies that people were born with, as opposed to the energies of the right now. Now, I can work with the energies of right now, and that would be if I were to do a reading for you and I wanted to look at the transits. Because just like astrology has transits, human design has the same thing. Our numbers are different because we have gates and astrology doesn't. So if somebody wanted to know the energy of the day, I would take their natal human design chart and I would put the transits on top of it to see the energy that they're working with that day. Does that make sense?
Okay, that makes sense. Have you seen anything that was, like, just say, the chakras that were unique on their, birth time, of, like, maybe somebody had, like, crazy, like, crown chakra activity or something like that? Have you ever seen anything like that? Because they say we're born of the light, born of consciousness, Christ, God, whatever, you would think that it would be already there. Is there anything different like that at the birth chart? Does that make
So
sense? I'm always blah, 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 blah.
that's okay. So 70% of the population are generator types. So that
Okay.
means manifesting generator or generator. That's 70% of the population.
Okay.
There are projectors, and that makes up 20% of the population. Then we have manifestors that make up 9%. And then we have reflectors, and that makes up 1% of the population. Reflectors have no defined centers. So all other types, 99% of the population have at least 2 centers defined. However, reflectors have nothing defined. So when I read for a reflector, I'm reading for not their definition because they have none, but I'm reading their gates. So that would be probably the most interesting thing, because I've only read for two reflectors. Out of the hundreds of readings that I've done, only 2 reflectors. And it is such an interesting thing to experience and to talk to a reflector, because they literally see things so much different than we do. I like to tell people to imagine life like a movie, right? Generators and manifesting generators are the actors, right? We can't have a movie without actors. Then we have projectors, and they're like producers. So they're here. If you're a projector, you're actually here to lead and guide other people,
Right.
just like a producer does on a movie set.
Okay.
Then we have manifestors. Manifestors are like the screenwriters. So they're here to initiate. They write the script, and that's all they do. They don't take the action. Other people will follow, just like in a movie. The screenwriter writes the screenplay, the producer and the actors act it out, right? They bring it to life. And then reflectors are like movie critics. They literally reflect back to all of us the energy that we are emitting. Oh, it's super cool. Because a lot of reflectors, I don't think a lot of people know that they're reflectors, and they may feel like they're being really judgy, but like, that's the point. They are here to reflect to us what we're doing correctly and what we're doing incorrectly, and help us solve any issues that we have. So to answer the question, the weirdest thing I get to see is if I get to read for a reflector, because it's such a wild experience.
Do you find there's a certain sign maybe that's a reflector, or is there a pattern with that, or is it just it's anybody?
I have read for a Libra reflector and a Scorpio reflector. So it's not really astrologically, there's not like one sign that's predisposition to being a reflector, because the types change all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was actually just looking to see if anybody was messaging, because now I get it. I was like, how do we get people want to, live act and react? But that's cool. Okay. So, what are you?
I am
Huh?
I am a 2-4 sacral generator. And you're a 3-6 emotional generator.
Any numbers. 836 emotional generator.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you said you're a sacral?
Yes.
2-4 who?
A 2-4 sacral generator.
So are you saying your sacral, and this is going to probably sound very simple, your sacral generator, is that where your, let's say, if we're talking about superpowers, is that where your superpower comes from?
So when I talk about sacral and emotional, I'm talking about our authority. So for you as an emotional generator, there is no truth in the now for you. What you are designed to do is to ride the emotional wave that you experience when you are not only living, but making decisions. So for you, if I were to read for you, I would say, Karla, what I'd like you to do is give yourself time to make decisions. If you were to make a decision from a super high high or a super low low, those are usually the decisions that you're going to regret later. When you allow yourself the time to really sit with the emotion and ride that up and down, you'll then have a point in time where you get to be more equal. Will you ever be like completely perfect in your emotions? Absolutely not. Nobody else is. Nobody in this life is. But we want to get as close to even keeled for you to make a decision. Because then what happens is when you allow your emotions to settle down and be more even keeled, you can then listen to your sacral. Your sacral will say uh-huh or uh-uh. So what I like to say for emotional authorities, it's like you have little bodyguards in front of your sacral center that don't let you in, don't let anything in until you're chill, right? You got to be chill to get into the sacral club, however you want to call it. But they're like little bouncers. For me, I'm a sacral authority. So for me, I don't have to worry so much about the emotion. When I'm asked to make a decision, I tap in to that sacral and I hear or I feel either a uh-huh or an uh-uh. That tells me that in this moment, I have or I do not have energy for the question or the experience that somebody is asking from me. So you have little bouncers, I don't.
So let me understand that sacral thing for yourself. Has it been easier for you to say no because you understand why you're saying no?
Oh no, it's hard as hell.
No.
We have all been conditioned to be people pleasers.
Especially as
And
women.
especially if you are a generator, because as a generator, we have a defined sacral, which means that we have consistent access to life force energy. So we have been conditioned to just do things. Well, you have the energy, you should do it. You need to do for everybody else before you do for yourself. So when I finally allowed myself to start living my design, having to say no and put up boundaries after 40 years of being a people pleaser was incredibly difficult. And I still struggle with it sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I have an undefined solar plexus. So for me, I don't have consistent energy or access to the emotions that I feel. I also amplify the energy and the emotions of other people around me. So you, as a defined emotional solar plexus, because that's your authority, you can put words to how you feel. It's easy for you to put words to it. You know what you feel. Anybody with an open or undefined emotional solar plexus, we never know how we're going to feel because we take in and amplify the emotional energy of the people around us. So it's easier for us to make a decision when we're not around people, so we can really tune in to our own sacral and not have to worry about the energy or emotions of other people. For you, there's no truth in the now. For you, I want you to wait to make a decision. And if anybody ever tells you that you have to make a decision right now, those are people you don't need in your life. Those are people that are so used to controlling you that when you try to set that boundary, they become bullies. Those are the people that they're out of here.
Yeah.
Your bouncer, kick them out. Kick them out. They don't belong. They don't belong here. So
bouncers. Yeah, and that used to be very hard for me because you think when you start to understand how people work and the world works, that's when you go, you don't like you say, you don't have to say yes to everything right away. And a lot of times it's good, like you said, it's good that you don't. I had to learn that. I had to learn that. And all of a sudden something happens and I can't get in touch with somebody, or I'm like, why'd you do that? Well, that's because they knew they could try to take advantage. And that could be the Libra Piscean thing that I have going on, where that Pisces moon with all that emotional shit and I'm everywhere else. And the Libra's still sitting there going, I got to weigh the pros and cons. And my Mercury is in Libra. So that just fucks up everything. It's like, I'm like, I should have, that Scorpio Venus kind of should have been in that Scorpio moon, maybe, or that Scorpio Mercury. But, they're like, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to put it somewhere else.
Right? She came down here to learn.
I'm like, damn. Okay. So what else can we ask with this? And I'm writing because this is what I do.
Okay.
Do you teach others? Do you have courses with this? What do you offer as far as doing this with your work? Because I know you have a website and everything. If somebody wanted to have a reading from you or have their chart done, are you able to do that, set that up, that whole deal?
Oh, 100%. So if anybody listening wants to actually just pull up their chart, my recommendation is geneticmatrix.com.
Okay.
Now you'll pull up a free chart. It'll give you a little bit of information, obviously, because it's free.
Yeah.
Now, if you were like, oh, I want to go deeper, absolutely, I do readings. My website, maureen-webb.com, I have a services page. I do human design readings, gene key readings, and I also have a page on my website where I do 50% off some original readings that I've created. And what else? Oh my gosh. I have completely lost my train of thought. Oh my God. What else did you ask? Like my brain was just like, we're done. Oh, courses. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Duh. So sorry. Courses. So I also have done 3 different workshops. One is an introduction to human design. One is an introduction to gene keys. And a third is human design and love. And all 3 of those workshops are available for purchase on my website. And I may be, yes, I am, working on a masterclass for the spleen center, because that is where we hold fear. There are fear gates in human design. And I thought it'd be fun because it's like spooky season. And I was like, wouldn't it be fun to put a masterclass together about the splenic system, like the splenic center, and then talk about the fears of each gate. So I'm working on that right now. If anybody wants to get on my email list, I always give first dibs to everything to my email list. And I also give discount codes to the people that have been kind enough to give me their email. So yeah, that's what I have going.
We may have to go on, and I'm we may have to go on Instagram or something, and we'll try that, Instagram or Facebook, so you can talk about this more. Obviously, I'm technically challenged, so I'm going to learn.
Me too.
I mean, I know I could do it from my phone, but then I'll be sitting there going, what did they say? So yeah, this is good. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about with that?
Well, if you want to do something like on like a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live, if people are willing to give their birth information, I can pull up some charts and kind of do like some mini readings. If you want to do, I'm totally down for that. Like, again, I can talk about this shit all day, every day.
Okay, so you guys hear this, whoever comes on and checks out the video, we will set something up like that. I will also put in her, I think I got a mosquito bite. I will also, like this. I will also put Maureen's information in the info box or what it is in YouTube. And yeah, I will do that. So this is cool. This is
Yeah.
cool. Um, yeah, are you feeling anything about anything? As if you want to go ahead, because this is also a platform, or if you just want to go, yeah, I just want to go.
Well, okay, so as a generator, we're both generators. So I'm going to ask you a question and you're good. I want you to respond to me. So no thinking, just respond. Are you ready?
What, like one word?
Yes.
Oh,
Ready?
okay. All right.
Would you like me to give your listeners a discount code for my website?
Sure.
All right. So I kind of knew you were going to say that. So I kind of prepared. If you go on my website and you're here listening right now and you're like, holy shit, Maureen is absolutely amazing and she's so funny. I totally want her to read my human design. If you use the discount code Karla, Karla, I will give you 15% off any full priced reading.
Interesting. Okay, that's cool. So this is where I'll have to put in you'll send me the stuff and I'll put it on the thing. So you
Wait.
put it on the thingy and get the thingy going.
Yeah.
Cool. I love it. Okay. I definitely want to do this again. So you can do an explanation on whoever's chart that you have that you find fascinating. You can do anybody's chart and just explain that stuff. I mean, I
will read your chart. If you're comfortable with your listeners, like listening to your personal reading, I would 100% read for you.
Sure. I don't care read you anybody. So they can see what this chart thing looks like and how you actually do it. Because that would be great so that they know, oh, that's what she means. Because we're talking gene keys and codes and numbers, and people are like me. I'm like, I don't know what that is. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
it is hella overwhelming. Mm-hmm. So overwhelming at the beginning because there's just so much. And we as human beings, I feel like we have to understand everything in the now. Like right now, I have to understand this. I have to know. And right. Human design and gene keys are a process. They are an experiment. We're here to be on an adventure, like I'm learning. I learn something new every single day about human design or gene keys. Like we're always learning. So it's okay to be overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. I put the book down for 2 years because it told me to wait. So I get it. And I'm always open. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Hit me up on Instagram. You can shoot me an email from my website. As a generator, I love responding to things. And I am so passionate about this that like, all you have to do is be like human design. And and I will tell you whatever you want to know. Like, I can't help it. Like my little ears come up like, what'd you say?
Like, what's going on?
Fucking like 50 feet away. I swear to God, somebody said human design. What's going on? I love it. I love it. And I 100% believe that it has helped me change my life and get me on the right path. So I guess officially, legally, I can't make any guarantees. But it's going to change your life. Change your life. A little bit, a lot of it. Whatever you're open to. Whatever you're open to.
Wow moments.
Oh, it's delightful. And I love, love, love my life right now. And to be able to like literally help people see how fucking amazing they are. You can't beat it. You cannot beat it. That's my shit. It's my jam. And I love it.
That's showing our generation. That's my jam. That is awesome. That is awesome. All right. Well, cool. If you don't have anything else, then we can wrap it up. I will, again, get your information, put it on here so people can contact you. This was awesome. I definitely want to do this again after the second week in October. We could do that.
100%. And it is, Karla, thank you so much for even inviting me to be able to talk about this. Like, you're such an amazing person. And to
You, not be you.
no, seriously, listen, you're gonna accept this compliment, god damn it. You are
Okay.
such an amazing human being, and the work that you do is so incredible. And the fact that I was guided to go and find a job, and then I get to meet you there, and I meet other wonderful, amazing readers. Like, I
Yeah.
am so blessed that I get to live this life in community with some really, really amazing human beings. And
Oh,
thank you so much for allowing this to happen and for letting me be part of your life, because it's so amazing. And I'm grateful every single day for the friendships that I have made here, because it was hard at first. I didn't know anybody, and now I can say that I know some people. So thank you for being part of my community, because I don't know what I would do without you.
thank you. I feel the same way. And it's crazy because we both went on that journey of we don't know anybody, but we're going to do this. So thank you. You're a blessing as well. And that's why I said when I had you on here, I was like, she can explain this shit. This is awesome. She's really good at it.
Yeah, I try to have fun with it. I really do.
And that's the point. That's what we tell people. Have fun with what you do, because that's when you know you're on your journey or your soul journey or your purpose. When you're having fun doing it, that's easy. That's it.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
100%.
Nice. Well, thank you, Madame. I appreciate you giving me your time. I'm blessed. Thank you. And we will do this again.
Hell yeah, we are.
Hell yeah. All right, kiddo.
All right, kiddo, later, Tater.
All right, honey.